Hi there, this is Cynthia again. Welcome to another tutorial. This one will be featuring EL wire, standard EL wire, and I am going to show what happens, what kind of effects are made when you cover something with tulle, because we want to be able to sew with this. Originally I had purchased the welted EL wire, and because I made a dress, so I wanted to embed it in the seam allowances, but it was very rigid and it sort of had a life of its own. So the standard EL wire is definitely a little bit less rigid, and of course it's still wire, but you can manipulate it a little bit more. So I wanted to come up with a way to use this to make some pillows without having to hand sew it all. So, and I'm going to shut the light off so we can see the wire. So this is red, so that's the flashy mode, and I'll shut the light off, see if we can appreciate the color more. Oh, that's neat. So that's like fast flash, slow flash, and then that's just the solid red. So I'll just keep it on that. It does make a beeping noise, the inverter, but you kind of hide it, and if there's enough noise in the room, you don't really notice it as much. So I need to basically refabricate what they did with the welt. And so this is tulle. This stuff is generally found in petticoats, under dresses, to give us some body and some girth. It's pretty inexpensive. It's $1 to $3 a yard, and pretty easy to work with. It doesn't fray. You just cut it how you want it. So I've just kind of roughly cut a strip here, and so I'm going to show you. If you cover this, you barely notice it. I mean, it's actually kind of a cool effect. It subdues it just a tiny bit. And so the whole point of wrapping this and to create this kind of welt is so that I can sew it along the edges of a fabric to sandwich it in between seams so that I don't have to do it by hand. So I will do this on the machine, but I just want to show you right here. So that is wrapped around it very tightly, and then we would kind of lay this over. So anyways, just a couple more things about these materials. This obviously is the EL wire. I got this from Adafruit. It's 2.5 meters, so it works pretty well with almost no waste for a 20-inch pillow, which is what we're going to do, 20-inch square pillow. This is, I was trying to think what would be a nice pillow fabric. So you want something soft, and black looks nice with the red, or the Tron blue, or really any of the kind of the bright colors that they have. So this is actually silk velvet. It's from the 30s or 40s. I have a huge collection of fabric. This is obviously vintage, but it's really great. And it has a pile, but you can't notice it too much. So it's really exquisite fabric. So I thought that would be kind of a funny contrast to do something old and luxurious with this futuristic type of thing. So I'm going to stop this, and then I am going to set up my machine and bring it over and show you an example of how we'll do that, and then I will show you how to actually create the pillow with it. Okay, so I'm back here. So I'm at my sewing machine, and I'll just mention a couple things about what's going on here. So I have black thread coming from the top, and in the bobbin I've actually got a very dark green because I'll show you a little bit later, but I need to have a contrasting thread so that when I flip it over and sew again for the other side, I can see it, because we don't want to pierce this stuff. That would probably be bad. So we want to have a guide. So all right, so let me just pull up this bobbin thread, And I have, I put on my attachment foot for, it's basically like a zipper attachment, because I want to be able to ride as close to the left as I can. Okay. So these are scraps, but it's supposed to kind of sort of represent the edges of a pillow or whatever you want to do. So what we want to do is, and later I'm going to kind of cut all this stuff up because this is a little bit wide. You wouldn't really want to do a tulle this wide. It doesn't really matter, but it's nice to line everything up. So I like to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to try to duplicate that. So you can probably see that. So I wrapped it around and I'm laying it on top of the velvet. Now a lot of people have a hard time sewing with velvet because it has a pile and it tends to slip. So let me just move the needle over. 1, 2, okay. It tends to slip, so you really have to focus and pay attention and move slowly and pull this out. Okay, so it's down. So this has an edge which will ride against this piping, and probably as a guard this will prevent the needle from piercing into that that wire. So I'm just doing one side. Sometimes when I do home deck projects for pillows and cushions, I will actually sandwich the whole thing together and sew it all in one continuous motion, and then kind of put the zipper in and be done with it. But I really don't want to pierce this stuff, so we have to really look what we're doing here. Okay, so that's that. So that's in. So now what we're going to do, so you can see, you can almost see that, or I certainly can, the color on the other side. And now that comes into play. So I'm going to put, so now we have right sides together of the velvet. Put that over, and I'm going to flip it. So now I need to sandwich all of these pieces together. And that is my guide stitch. So I do not want to go this way of that line. I want to go pretty much right on top of it. And that will be the insurance that I need that the piece of wire doesn't get ruined. Okay, so that is it. As you can see, it's really just a jacket, so I can move this wire back and forth. Once all four sides, 4 edges are put together, you can't. So let me bring this over here. Actually, you know what? I can probably just, if it's dark enough, I want to show the light because it's really fun. Yay. So that is just, it's a beautiful seam. So it's all embedded. It was very easy. This stuff now is a lot less rigid than if you bought the welted EL wire, which coincidentally also comes in 5-meter lengths, not 2.5. So you would have to cut and do a little bit of labor so that you wouldn't just waste 2.5 meters. So that's really nice. So I'm going to stop this and then restart and show how to actually make the pillow and put the rest of the thing together. Okay, so I have, this is my serger, and I want to create a lot of, a long strip, a nice even long strip with this tulle to envelop my EL wire. So I really don't want to cut it, and I love using my serger to cut things like tulle. So what I did is I removed all of the thread, so it's really, I'm just utilizing the cutter. So let's see. So let me just make sure that everything's set up. So I can put it on a long stitch count so it actually feeds it pretty fast. So I think I'm going to feed it this way because I only need about an inch. So I know if the blade is here and I have this metal plate here, that is about an 1.25 inches, and that's pretty good. It's okay to go a little over. I'm going to try to straighten this out. I'm just going to kind of demo this, see if this works okay. And then you just fold this under. So you can actually fly through this pretty quickly. I think at the beginning I just want to go slow, but it ensures a really perfect cut with no jagged edges. Alright, so I'm going to stop the video there and continue cutting till I have enough for a 20-inch pillow. So that would be, probably about 85 inches would be okay. Okay, so here is the 3 pieces of velvet cut out for the pillow. So the way this works, so you put them right sides together when you're ready to sew. So this is the front piece, and we're making a 20-inch square. So I did I think 21.25 by 21.25. And I had to chalk and mark everything because it's such a low pile. It's really nice. It's hard to keep track of which way the nap is going. So I just marked the top and the bottom. This is called an envelope style pillow. These are the pillows that have an open back, and you spread the back and you can insert the pillow inside. So there's no buttons, no zippers. So that will get sewn like this. First we will take the EL wire that's wrapped in the tulle. So I cut my big long strip. And these chalk lines show that you really want rounded corners. I don't think I really want to make a sharp edge with the EL wire. It can handle it, but it won't look as nice, and it may kind of dog-ear it and make it look a little rigid. So so I'm going to go ahead and sew this together and show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so I know I said I was just going to sew the whole thing and then show you what it looks like when it's done, but this seemed kind of rude because there's actually a lot of steps, and a lot of people don't really know how to sew a pillow. So I'm going to try to explain a couple things at least. So let's see. Okay, move this. Okay, so we have the needle all the way over. So I have these things pinned just to keep them straight. but I am just going to sew on the front of the pillow first, attach the EL wire enveloped in the tulle, and then after that is stitched on, I will then sew the 2 backings on. So you kind of want this sewn at the bottom, because when it finishes its row, it's going to end up here, and there will be an extra 7 or 8 inches, maybe a little bit more, of this wire stuff, and so you just want to be able to tuck it inside with the battery pack. So yeah, so you want to start this here, and there's not too much bulk from this velvet because I've only folded it over once, so you can just kind of go, and remember this moves, so you can hide that in after. So let's see. Yeah, try this here. So again, we're going to do about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'll just do a demo, kind of going around the corners and see how that works. I haven't tried that yet with this stuff, so I'm going to go slowly. I don't want to... Okay, so I don't really like how that came out. So because this tulle, it's not cut on the bias, but it is stretchy. So it kind of slipped, so I'm just restarting that. Okay, you can backstitch if you want. So I'm just kind of straightening this out a little bit. There's not really any kinks, but maybe I'll put it on flashy. Might be more exciting. So you want this tight. Just use your nail if you've got them. Let's see. I'm sure they don't look as pretty as these. So you really want to use, obviously, this kind of zipper foot. It has a guide so that you don't go into the wire. So we're coming up in a corner. We'll see how this works. So that's pretty easy, no problems there. So let me just stop it, and so I can show you. So that's what that looks like. You know, it's attached on there, and so I am going to continue sewing the whole thing, and maybe I'll show you as I'm sewing on the back, and that should be it. Okay, so I'm back, and yay, I didn't pierce the EL wire. So I stitched all of this to the front of the pillow, and I went around it again just to make sure it was nice and tight and really flush up against the wire. And then I had to just kind of work it because it had buckled a little bit, and because it slides, but it's pretty easy to work with. So now I've got the 2 backs pinned to the top, and now I have my guide stitches. So I shouldn't have any problems with that. So I'll just sew a little bit, and then we'll skip to the finished product. Actually, I'm going to stop here. I guess I should show you what I did. Ow. So this is the two backs. So they overlap. And so I've just pinned them, you know, with without getting the wire. And that's how that works. Okay. Okay, so I'll stop this here and finish it up and come back when it's all set. Okay, so I'm back, and so here is the final pillow. So you can play with it a little bit. As you can see, it still has this rigidity, but it's a lot softer than the welted wire. So it's on the fast flash, and so this is the envelope. You know, you just tuck it in there, and most of the times you can put a button there, or if I did a more of an overlap, you wouldn't you definitely wouldn't have to worry about it. But I wanted just kind of easy enough access so that you can put this in there. Now you can cut this in the there are tutorials on Adafruit that show you how to do that, or you can just tuck the whole thing in there. So yeah, that's pretty neat. So I'll just show you. Tuck it in. That way you have easy access just to shut it off if you want. And you tuck all this in there, and oops, put that in there. Yay! Matilda likes it. Alright, that's it for this video. My next tutorial might be one for a blazer. Prom season's coming up, so I want to see how that crowd sort of plays out with the LEDs and the EL wire. Thanks for watching.